So far, we've been talking a lot about the trends and the aspects of the farmers and ranchers within the food and fiber industry. But by no means does the farming sector make up the whole food and fiber industry. Matter of fact, you've got people that help support the farmers and ranchers, and then those that the farmers and ranchers sell to that are also part of the food and fiber industry. So the people that provide inputs or provide the products that the farmers and ranchers need, those are the farm input suppliers. Farm input suppliers are those that provide the U.S. farmers and ranchers with supplies needed to produce both crops and livestock. So they're providing physical goods and services. What's interesting to note about the farm input suppliers is that the farm input supplier industry actually relies on a healthy farm sector. So think about it this way. Who is the customers of these farm input suppliers? It's the farming sector. It's the farming sector that are going to be buying the goods and services from the farm input sector. So if the farming sector is doing good, then the input sector is going to be able to supply more. They're going to be able to supply more chemicals. They're going to be able to supply more tractors because the farming sector is going to be demanding more because they're doing good. So the farm input sector relies on a healthy farm sector. But by the same token, the farm sector relies on the farm input suppliers to be able to get them the products that they need so that they can produce these crops and livestock. So who are these farm input suppliers? Very simply, they're anybody that provides either goods or services to a farm or ranch to help them produce either a crop or livestock. But we can break them up into 6 main categories, 6 very broad categories. These 6 broad categories are the feed manufacturing industry, the fertilizer industry, the agricultural chemical industry, farm machinery and equipment industry, the higher farm labor market, and then also farm lenders. So, something we should recognize is that these first 4 categories all provide physical goods to a farm or ranch. Think about it this way. The feed manufacturing industry is providing feed for livestock. That's a physical good. You can touch that. Fertilizer industry provides fertilizer. You can touch that. Agricultural chemical, you can touch the agricultural chemical, although I don't recommend doing that unless you've got chemical gloves on. And then farm machinery and equipment. You can physically touch all of these things. These are physical goods. But then these last 2, these are services being provided. So higher farm labor, labor is a service. You can't physically touch labor, nor can you physically touch the lending money or farm lenders. They provide a service. So these last 2 are services. So a farm input supplier is anybody that provides goods or services to the farmer or ranch to help them produce those crops and livestock. So at the end of the day, how are farmers' expenses broken up among these categories? How are farmers and ranchers spending their money across these 6 broad categories? Well, what we've come to realize is that 17% of the expenses of the total farm production expenses goes to fertilizer and ag companies. So in the aggregate of the whole total farming sector, we're not talking about individual farms or ranches. We're talking about the aggregate, the whole farming sector. Out of the whole farming sector, farmers and ranchers spend 17% of their expenses on fertilizer and ag chemicals. We see that they spend 39% will go towards aspects such as feed or farm services and livestock and poultry purchased for feeding. So they're spending 39% of their income or their expenses goes to feed, livestock or poultry that they're going to feed, or then it goes to farm services. 25% of it goes to labor, rent, and machinery and or vehicles. Another 6% will go to interest payments made to banks and other loan agencies. And then roughly 4% goes to fuel. So that kind of breaks up a little bit of how farmers' expenses are being broken up across these farm input suppliers.